Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm your host, Alex, and
It's me, the other host, Lon, and today we have a special guest. It's a friend of both of ours.
Hi, name's Jeff.
you may also know him from TDH as the Table Goblin.
You know,
Or if you're anybody who is part of our group from many years ago, I was also known as the Dawn.
Those days are long past. I am broke.
well, you were one of the few first in our group that decided to get a serious job with adult money. That was serious adult money, and you had the smart idea to spend the adult money on card games while you could, and it worked.
You mean like all of us now?
Yeah, see, we didn't know what a case was back in the day. What's a case of cards? We have to pull all the singles, right?
All the singles.
So naive. Even in college, naive.
I mean, they don't teach you good economics.
School
using
system does
cardboard.
fail you.
They didn't teach you the cardboard economics.
To be correct, but I mean, they won't tell you how to balance a checkbook either.
No,
It's
no.
unfortunate.
You have to go to Harvard for that.
This podcast is not sponsored by Liquid Death, but it could be, and I could have had a Liquid Death vessel right here in my hands. Instead, I just have regular, boring, sad tap water. Hydrate or dihydrate?
You hear it here, folks. Liquid Death. We're going to keep
I'm going to-
beating it to the ground until you give us a sponsorship.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to puppy dog eyes. Blink, 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 blink. Pretty please.
And then one day, Lon will know what a case of liquid death is like. A dream.
They sell them at my store. The problem is, so I'll explain my tragic liquid death situation right now. It's
Please
very first world problem, like maybe 0.5 world problem, because it's not a money thing for me. It's an inconvenience. So they sell liquid death both at Lowe's Foods and Food Line, and you live in the same area I do. So you know how opposite directions they are in. Not far. You're just in our town. When you turn left, it's a nightmare.
It is. If you turn left, you are going left. There is no right about it.
It's sometimes you have to.
This is
turn,
not NASCAR.
You need to turn right to go left because turning left is that difficult.
Yeah.
So the problem is the Food Line is closer to my house than Lowe's. So it's true. This is truly a lazy problem. They sell liquid death at both. They only sell liquid death in the 8-pack box. Multiple flavors at Lowe's. They only sell one flavor in the box. At Food Line, it's the lime one. I don't mind the lime one. It's just not my favorite. The Berry Delight is my favorite. They sell them in single cans. Just buy the singles. It's like, it's $2 a pop. I want to just buy the 8-pack, please. It's expensive, and the box has a cool art on the back. Each flavor has a different art, so it's very, cool. Dude, this is a free plug right now, but imagine how much more excited I would be if I were sponsored by you. Just saying.
He'd probably have the boxes framed at this point.
I would. I'd cut them out and put them like a collage of all of them side by side.
Decoupage and liquid death.
Yeah.
Like
Hey,
Liquid Death.
I know you just lost a sponsor. I listened to Brainlink podcast. They just ended their podcast. So that is a free sponsor. That is a sponsorship up there. You're not even changing your economics for your company. Yes, I have not nearly as many of the viewers as they did, but I'll try my best. We're only fledglings.
It's getting in at the ground. It's getting at the bottom.
Yeah, ground level of this
starting from
mediocre
the bottom.
podcast.
From the bottom.
There we are.
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. So I think we talk about card games sometimes on here.
The podcast is about card games, but it could be about other things, but mostly card games.
Mostly card games of any variety. So I had some ideas for us today in my holy scriptures.
Your little blue book.
Yeah, my little blue book of how to talk on a podcast. Introductions.
Oh, please no.
No, we're
Step
not doing
one.
it. We will get to know you towards the end, and boy howdy have I been forgetting. This is supposed to be timed.
It's fine. I got a timer on here. We're going for 4 minutes
Oh, okay.
because there's a timer on that.
Cool. Let me know when it's at the 50-minute mark. That's
Gotcha.
the bare minimum of when I need to ask the last question.
Gotcha.
Oh,
But
Lord.
otherwise, we'll figure out when there's a natural end, because I know it's late for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
4 I mean, for me, it's not, because I don't work on Fridays. And for timeline's sake, today's a Thursday. It's the last day of the work week for me, other than technically Saturday. But
Find a bridge, good
and
sir.
jump right off. Don't worry, it won't be for long. So Oh gosh, no peeking. So we've known each other. We've bought card games together. We have played many card games, and we've traded together.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very interesting question.
Did you say
There's
introdicing?
that
Yeah,
H.P.
I did.
Lovecraft vocabulary coming
Yeah,
in.
that was a missed conversation, but it was very topical. So it's a very basic question, but it's a very interesting. I think it's more intricate and
Thought-provoking.
thought-provoking than it first appears. So think back to going to locals, your local card shop. How do you approach trading? And I think any card game can be different. The answer can differ per card game. So, like Yu-Gi-Oh crowd, and it depends on it really depends on who you're trading
So,
with.
Coach, do you want to give us an example for the class so that way we have an idea?
Well, the most intricate one, I think, and the most thought-provoking, the simplest one is you trade one for one. You want to get the same value out of your trade as best you can.
Well, I mean, and even take money out of it.
Exactly, you're trading cardboard for
some
cardboard.
people are like, I need that card. I need that card that you have here.
Exactly. Sometimes I think
Like playground trading.
exactly where it's like rarity for rarity.
Yeah.
Price tag, who cares? I think that is most important when you're trading with someone younger, like a fledgling getting into a card game.
Oh, yeah.
Because, boy, I witnessed it all the time in Yu-Gi-Oh! You'd be at your locals, the kid who just started playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
They buy 3 booster packs and they pull a $50 like chase rare card in the set, and they're like, boy, he bought 1 pack. I bought 3, and he pulls the chase card, and I pull just junk. And so I want to trade with this kid, but I know I don't got $50 in my binder.
Yeah.
What's the best course of action? Is it to make the trade happy? Like, that's what I feel is best. And that's what I was taught by people I know. I say taught, but like advised upon when it comes to trading with younger people. It's not to, the idea is not to take advantage of the trade because yes, they're young, they're susceptible. Some people don't know what TCG player is. They don't know what card value is. So like a perfect example is like, they pulled like $100 card, like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, what if they pulled a Ghost Rare and you want that Ghost Rare? But they're like, they don't have a deck that hardly, like, their deck is playground rares. They're stuck in a rubber band and in a Ziploc bag. Like, that's like where they're at. They may have just got sleeves and that's their entire budget for the day. Their mom paid for their tournament entry and they're picking them back up at the end of the tournament. Or they're sitting in the other room waiting for the tournament to end. Their poor mom and dad is doom scrolling. I think a good.
Why does that bring back some memories of the old card shop?
Well, because you're
we
thinking
were
of a
doom
very
scrolling or rubber banding at one point.
I don't know why, but like whenever you said like parents in the other room while the kids
You're
like,
thinking
I just got like a flashback to Nathaniel from playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, that's not his fault. He got into the card game really young, and so he just needed. Buddy, our locals was rough.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
No.
the moment you said that, it just that's the image that came into my mind was like,
Silver
yeah,
lining,
Nathaniel,
at least they collected and played the game.
Yeah.
To a degree. It wasn't like they weren't experts, but they got involved in the game. They were like, while their son was playing in a tournament, they were like looking through the bulk for cards. They were like, hey, this is good. Like, they're trying to finish up collections. But to get back to my rant and topic in general is, I think a great way to approach that like major trade. It's like, I don't have the card you're looking for, but I can trade you these cards. And I can also offer my services to advise you on how to better construct your deck, to make it more into an archetype, into something that'll function. Whether it's a rank 4 spam exceeds deck that just runs all the rank 4s that just do something, or it's like just the skeleton of an archetype.
Well, and I think it also depends on at what point you are in your trading card venture.
Correct.
Because you have like right now, I'm a puff up a little bit.
I
have.
You spent your money. You did your time.
Oh yeah. So we're going to spin off of Yu-Gi-Oh because I like the game. I will play the game.
I mean, everyone liked the card game. It's just what it's become as a monster.
Yeah,
But
very much
continue.
so. Magic, at least, is a controlled monster. You can kind of rein it in a
There's
little bit.
multiple levels of entry and multiple options. Unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's all one format. It's legacy.
You either got it or you get beat until you figure it out.
Yeah, or afford it.
Yeah, or afford it, yeah. Which that's the figuring it out. Yu-Gi-Oh! Want to be good at Yu-Gi-Oh? Figure out what the card does and then buy it. That's it. There is,
and then there's the crazy option. You just buy the entire deck in one go, and then you learn it in the fly. And like, okay, I'm gonna learn it because I was told to buy this. It's like you just Googled it. You didn't actually like practice with it.
The
like,
number of times that I've seen someone do that at locals, where they're like, "I just bought this brand new deck," is like $300 or $400 or $1,000, and I'm like, "Cool. Do you know what you're doing with it?" Absolutely not. And then some junk player comes up and they're like, "I've been playing this game since it came out. Let me teach you what it means to actually play."
Let me show you the nuances.
Man, this is a hot take, but man, like I see so many of that. Like, not saying there's a lot of people in Vanguard that do that, but I see so many people that are like, "Oh, this is a top tier deck. I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna try to play it," and then they don't even bother to do the research, and they just think they know that the deck will run.
They stumble through it. Unfortunately, some decks aren't pay to win. There is a learning curve to it. Unfortunately.
Well, and we can spin back on that, but for the topic that we were
yes.
It's a trade.
I'm a choo this train back on the tracks.
No, you're good. That's the whole point of this. We get an hour to be stupid.
When you are at the point where I'm at, like we'll use Magic for example. Me and you both have extensive experience with Magic.
Yes,
and we've invested in what we enjoy playing. We used to play super hyper competitive, and as such, we've held on to pieces of those, but maybe not all of them, because when you change play groups, it shifts a little bit. You might not want to be the absolute sweat that sits at the table and everyone hates.
Exactly. It's like your arch enemy every game.
Every game.
Because we mostly play Commander.
Trey.
Man, did you just hear that bus you threw on your band?
But no, like I mean, I've played more than Commander. I've played Standard for a bit. I played Modern for a hot minute. I was pretty big into Pioneer for a solid bit because no one was playing Modern, and so you play Modern Light.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, at least in those, like, there's budget options and stuff, and Commander has those too, but Commander also attracts the money. Like I have real dual lands. I have real Time Twister.
Like I
it's
have this
crazy.
vintage this or that.
Check out my Lion's Eye Diamond.
Oh my god.
No, it's
To be
the
fair, I traded for one, so I used to be this guy. But I didn't keep it for long. But
no. Like honestly, I just think of that meme from God, what was it, Twilight, where it's like the royals sitting out there, peasants.
Yeah.
Oh, the poor people. We had this kind of controversy at my locals once upon a time where we had Commander tournaments, which is difficult because it's not a fully sanctioned format for Magic because there's no deck list, so that was hard to prove anything. So because you're not submitting deck lists to Wizards, we made a rule, and I think it was a fair one. It wasn't too like you can't. We said that we made proxies allowed, with a caveat. If the single copy for the card is $20 or more, you're allowed to proxy it. And what sold me on the point, because it felt like disingenuous. Like, I've spent money on my cards. Now I feel like I've lost opportunity. I've wasted money now.
Yeah, I no longer have that piece that took so long to get.
Exactly. I felt like I'm now disadvantaged because of the situation where the disadvantage was on my opponent because I couldn't afford it, and it's not a fair thing to do to people. And skill should be the what determines who wins, not your wallet. I think that should be what determines things. Unfortunately, for most 1v1 card games, sucks to suck, you gotta have skill and money.
Yeah.
But for Commander singletons, it's a little cheaper, and there's multiple options. Like,
you can scrape by with like effects, and you don't have to have that.
it's like,
specific
this is the
card.
poor man's version of this card. It reads almost the same, costs like 1 to 2 more mana, but it essentially gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's the difference between a demonic tutor and diabolic tutor.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Like,
You
this
get the
huge-
card later.
Exactly. Well, it's like exactly because 2 turns later to be in fact, because it's 2 more mana. But no, it's but we made it to where proxies were allowed, and a lot more people were excited about that because then you can put dual lands in. But like if that shock lands under $20, you need to buy that, which also encouraged locals to still sell product. whether it be singles or booster packs.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to proxy everything, then the store doesn't make money, and then your locals dies. Like, and it's like you got to feed the man so you can have a place to play. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just part of the
100%.
deal.
Steering it back though to the initial question.
How to trade,
Yes.
how you approach it. Right.
I'm gonna put my sense in here. I'm gonna go off of what your example you gave about having a person who's never played before, but they pulled a really high card. I've done this before, just giving out decks to people just to get them to try to play for Vanguard.
Yes.
But I would say given a deck that's the same value that you don't play anymore, like you barely pick it up once or twice, you play it here and there, but then you're like, it's just sitting there collecting dust.
like
You use it.
it's maybe $80 if I squeezed it all together, and like that's including the deck box and the sleeves and everything that came with it. It's less than $100. It's like, do I pray and wait for support, or do I just let someone enjoy the game at a little bit of my sacrifice, but I'm growing my community?
But then it's good to that player because now they don't have to sit there and open pack or make trades to get the deck. It's like, already I have a deck I can take in, I can go. It may not be the best deck, but at least I can improve on it down the road.
And learning to play the game in general.
Oh,
And not just playing like, well, here's this structure deck I found and I've thrown 10 cards into it. I hope it works. Like that's the worst case scenario. Unfortunately for you, I know one of your examples, and then like 4 months later, it got like cracked support.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, what was it, Ballista? I gave Ballista right before the festival support came. And
Like, nothing was even leaked, so like there was no way of knowing because you gave it like the winter before.
Yeah.
And the irony is, I'm wondering if that person still has the deck now that I think about it, because they still play.
Yeah, he just did start playing again.
Yeah,
He had a
so
hiatus, but,
he might still have that.
To be fair, the other deck you gave him was what was it?
I gave him
Eugene.
No, I didn't
Was it
give him
Eugene?
Eugene. I gave him
It was Ballista
Felty Rosa.
and Felty Rose.
Well, and it also gave him the Shaman King Grape deck.
Oh yeah, it was a meme. That was a good meme.
I mean, that deck was fun. That was just a fun deck. To
Although that one is definitely a deck that is,
Now,
unless
worthless.
you're no, it's not worthless.
You're right. It's a good paperweight if you keep it in the deck box.
If you look at generic support like Regalius Pieces and stuff like that,
And Dragon Tree.
and Dragon Tree, or if we get nationless cards in the future, it could get better.
I mean, we got a bunch of vanilla crits twice.
You right.
I'm just saying, there's a chance.
Shaman King and Lollies.
I mean, you're right. It's not 0. It's like a decimal or 2 before 0.
Just insert the Dumb and Dumber thing. So you're telling me there's a chance?
You're telling me there's a chance. Though I think it varies when it's in a new player, but they're an adult with adult money and they have a full-time job.
Oh yeah,
Like if they're financially secure, you put them in the right direction.
yes.
Like I've at my current locals, I've had the store owner when I'm like playing Vanguard on Friday, or it's like I'm there on a Wednesday night just playing casual, or I'm there on a Tuesday playing Shadowverse, and they're like, I'm there before tournament. They'll be like, Lon, come up here, and they're like, and it's like he's trying to get into Magic, like out of these pre-cons I got, like based on how they want to play, where do you recommend them? And I'm very versed in Magic, and I'm a Timmy player. If you want to know my play style, there's Spike, Timmy, and what's the last one?
There's technically more. There's Spike, Timmy, John.
Johnny.
Johnny combo player. Yes.
Yeah, Johnny
so
combo
the
player.
Johnnies, Spikes, and Timmys are like the archetypal 3, and then there's offshoots of those. But I'm a Timmy player. I like to be big dumb Oonga Boonga energy when I play Commander. So most of my decks are tribal. So when I go up there to ask them, I'm like, all right, what's your flavor? What are you trying to do? What color do you lean on?
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite thing to do in that color? And then we go from there. And like he won't have all the options, but he might have the more recent like Commander cycles that have come through. And I'm like, well, if I were you, I'd try that one. That one's good. Like either it's good in the box and like sealed, or it's like that one's the best to improve upon. Like it starts at like a 5 power level, but like with a few tweaking, you can get it to an 8 easily.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the sweet spot, and figuring out how to advise these people and keeping in mind the power level at your locals whenever you trade. Because if you go to nationals or regionals or anything like that, throw those morals out the window. Those people spent money to get there. They will spend money on other cards there too. I promise you.
Yeah, no.
That is when you make money.
100%. Yeah, no.
Hi, Dad.
The other dangerous avenues of trading I've seen is like you have your sharks, you have your people who are like their own personal vendors. They like they get the high rarities. Like I dealt with this a lot early on in Yu-Gi-Oh! When I went to one of my other locals that like didn't care if you traded and sold in store to each other. Some locals, they like, you can't spend money in the store unless it's to me, which is, I think it's selfish, but to each their own. I understand the whys and the dangers of both.
I think, personally, if it's trading, fine.
Like trading for cards.
Trading card for card.
Well, no, the trading's fine. Well,
That's fine. But whenever it comes to money, if the business themselves do not sell singles or do not have what you are looking for, they need to figure out where they stand.
Correct. Because I've had it on and off at certain locals, depending on who's owning it at the time or whatnot. It all comes down to like our other locals that isn't open anymore. They used to have like a robust selection of singles, and they didn't care.
Well, I mean, they were comfortable in the fact that they knew that they would have people that would not have the cards, because you had the pool, going back to the Commander thing, you had the pool of Commander players that
They would just buy a booster box, crack it open. They're only looking for like 5 cards, and then everything else goes in their binder. So like eventually everyone gets what they want, and the owner would just buy a case for himself, and just anything extra would end up in the store's display.
Yeah.
So like eventually he's going to make some money back for the store.
And I think that feeds into, again, with the trading aspect, because he had his own version of trading.
Yeah, it'd be like, hey, I didn't pull these because he was an avid collector. He's like, he wants all the versions of every card, at least one copy. And so he'd be like, here's my spreadsheet. I literally didn't pull this. Did you pull it? If so, you get like 100% store credit, because some stores will do percentages based on whatever their ratios are. It's like either do a lesser percentage for cash or they'll do a higher percentage for trade-in store credit. And then for him, it's like, if I'm getting it for me, you get 100% store credit, because it's not for the store to resell. This is strictly going to my collection. It will not go anywhere else. So to compensate you, I'm going to give you 100%. It's like, it's only helping me, not helping the community.
And I think that's
that was a very reasonable and fair way to approach that.
And not every card shop or hobby store will be able to do that.
Correct.
He was in a position where he could. And I think that goes back to finding out where your position stands in the community for trades and such.
Yeah, your personal morals when it comes to that. Like, are you afraid of your locals community getting taken advantage of? You know, have some people coming out of town, so you just have a blanket rule to protect them in the future. I think it varies, but to more of my point, when you have like people who are, they're like little sharks, they tend to just flip cards, so they'll trade up only.
Oh yeah,
They'll be like, all right, I value your cards like a percentage less than mine. So it's like, for every one card you're getting, I have to get a card and a half of yours, at like essentially in value. So it's just like you're losing, you're getting the card you want, but you're losing in your stocks, your stonks.
Yeah. And I've done that myself, but again, not at locals. Keep your community safe.
Yes.
But like I said, regionals, nationals, go ahead.
You kind of make your own rules.
Yeah, they know why they're there. They are there, and if they are looking for a specific card, they have the mindset of, I'm either going to pay this much, roughly, or I'm willing to trade out the nose for this.
Also, disclaimer, at your regionals, most times they will have rules about trading and selling. Trading, obviously, no one cares, but when you're selling, you can't sell in this venue, especially specifically the room. They have vendors for that. But, you know, same thing with your locals. You just step outside the store, then the rules don't apply.
This is not legal endorsement advice.
Yeah, please. We're no legal team at all, but we have card game experience. Sorry, Alex, you look like you're teaming.
No. I was gonna say something, but you kind of like bridged into it. I was gonna ask, like, how often would you would you take a loss in a trade just to get a card?
So for me, it's if it's under like, it sounds like a really small number, but sometimes it matters, especially for singles, like for not like the main core pieces that are like, you know, $10-15 a piece.
Yeah.
When it's like a couple dollars, like I don't care. Like I'm happy at the end of the day. Like literally, I've done it several times in Shadowverse and Vanguard. It's like, because I'm looked through their binder 2 or 3 times, and I'm just like, all these cards are either more than the margin I'm looking in of like less than $3, or they're so small it's like 20 cent here, 10 cent there. I'm like, it's not worth the hassle. I'm like, I'm good. I'm satisfied. We got as close to the number as we could.
Yeah, like for me, like if they're picking up like a maybe like 3 or 4 cards and they're all under $1, I'll just tell them to take it. It's not worth you trying to spend time for it.
Unless they have like that one specific single that's like matches 1-for-1. Sometimes that don't happen. Otherwise, it's like, at least I looked.
But like for me, like if they're getting like a bulk, like they're getting like 15 or 20 cards, and they'll be like, all right, now we need to like look at it.
I gotta recoup some losses here. And like sometimes I'll trade for cards I don't even need. It's like, well, I know someone's gonna want this card, so I'm gonna put it in my binder. I'm gonna trade for it because it's at least the value. It's not a card I was looking for, but I found the same value. And eventually I can use this card to get the card I want, hopefully.
Which is kind of sad though, because when you think about it economic wise, like if I do that, almost all of the recent set for Vanguard, if you don't pull Alvina or the Dark States generic, is like in Twin Cast, is all under $1. So like literally anybody asks me for a single of that card, I'm just gonna be like, here.
Pretty much.
And to us that are able to do the what's a case thing, we don't care.
Because we have our play sets and like extras if we're worried.
And we're all about helping the community. I'd rather hear them like somebody get what they need to play the game and enjoy playing the game than
I'll have people at our locals who play like Brantgate like I do, and they'll be like, hey, I got my split for like triple rares and stuff, but like for commons and double rares, you got any of those? Can I get those off of you? I'm like, yeah, as long as I've got my play sets, you're good to go. And I'll be like, yeah, let me go get them. I'll get them at home. I'll bring them to you the next time I see you. Well, and usually that just is the best answer.
Oh yeah,
just like you've helped yourself. It's this trickle down to be political about trickle down economics here.
Trickle down.
It finally worked.
It works in card games at least. As long as you're not like as long as you're not like a prude about it.
Yeah.
You get those sharks who are like, well, I gotta make all my money back, otherwise this was not worth the investment. Blah, 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 blah.
I hate whenever you have like a 4 of a play set for something, okay? And this card is like 10 cents a piece. And I need 4. They're like, "Oh, I'll take $1." You will take 40 cents or a knuckle. Like
I'll give you 2 quarters, and then I'll be fine. Like at least you can use this in a drink machine. But
50 cents. You are not getting $1 for that.
I hadn't ran into that, but I understand the logic and how annoying it is.
I have. So story time. These are the best.
I like it when our guests tell us a personal story. I mean, you heard the last one and how crazy those got.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be playing card games on bicycles, but let's hear it.
So this was actually the second regionals that we went to Vanguard whenever it was us. The original team.
Is this the van?
No. This wasn't Atlanta, was it?
Yeah.
Was it
the airport?
Was it the van?
Well, I thought that was my first regionals.
No. Well, no, that one was a fun trip down there.
Was that our second regionals? I know that was at least my first. I don't know if it was your first, but it was my first.
If it's the airport story,
it might have been our first. No, literally, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook. It literally popped up today
the anniversary
as a reminder.
Wow, we came full circle.
No, keep talking. I'm going to pull it up.
But anyways, was it the one with the airport story?
Yeah, well,
because that was also my first regional.
And so it did happen at the airport. It did happen at that one. We will expand on that. But no, I had gone to one of the vendors and I said, hey, I'm looking for bulk. Now, first mistake was I went to a shop. Bulk? Okay.
Sorry, I looked at my timeline.
Mistake number
uno.
We'll
go over this. I will share my post from Facebook from 9 years ago.
Oh, God.
We're old. Yes, continue.
Bulk inside of a shop setting is going to cost more because they are going to lose money the longer it sits there.
Correct.
Commons, double rares, triples, whatever, low rarity stuff that just sits.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the fact that whenever you go into a physical store and you're like, I need this uncommon, it's 25 cents. cool.
Correct. They have like generic
Yeah.
baselines for every priced card.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and you
commons
saved,
of this, uncommons of this, etc.
and you saved me from having to go to TCG Player and order $20 worth of stuff just to
get
make
the
the
free
ship.
shipping free. Yeah. Oh, every time.
Or you have to spend $20 in shipping just because you have to go from multiple sellers because not one seller has everything.
Correct. I've had that happen to me several times because I don't play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, but sometimes I want to build a deck.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I literally just built Dragon Rulers. Thank you, Bandless. And so like some of them I had to get, especially the baby rulers. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna shotgun some sellers at like our recommended 100% sales, and I'm like, filter card, and they're like, no. I'm like, why? Have more cards. Literally, you know that shop in Duluth that we went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they show up on TCG Player and buy card. I think I ordered cards from them not too long ago.
Or you know what the worst?
Wasteland Gaming. Shout out.
But you know the worst part is like whenever you go and you have TCG Player and it has the optimized cart.
Oh yeah.
And you hit optimize, you're like, all right, cool. They're gonna hit me up. I'm gonna set me up, and you go one seller change. Like mother.
To be fair, the optimize has gotten better.
It has gotten. It has
Like,
gotten.
they changed the format because it used to just give you like one other option. Now you could like keep swiping right, and it gives you like 4 to 5 options. Sometimes it's just like it went up more, but there's only like 1 to 2 packages now. Or it's like I've had it sometimes like it went from like 6 packages to 3, and it went down like $1.50. I was like, this is the best, the best.
just be careful for people that never know about this option because our friend Atreus did this. And fun fact,
Yes.
it is not kind to rarities if you don't filter right. And sometimes it will
There
give you
is-
old Vanguard cards instead of
Correct.
standard.
It's specifically when you run into encounter cards in current Vanguard. If you don't specify which version it's from, like is it from Overdress or is it from, you know, it's like, and then you just get a bunch of worthless cards. And that's shipping you never get back. And the singles you never get back. It's like, damn you, computer! It wasn't a person's fault. It was a robot's fault. And then you can only be more mad.
Yeah, Skynet's taking over, and they're taking the nerds first.
Yes.
You hear those people that are like, computers are never wrong. I beg to differ.
It's like, allow me to show you.
But no, first mistake, went to a shop.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
we
just
were talking about something.
Yeah, absolutely. You two.
Sorry.
It's why we did this.
I mean, that's fair. Let the squirrels run.
You know, they squeak.
I needed just a couple more pieces, and they were like dollar commons. Like they were short print kind of stuff, and I needed
Obscure.
two. I just needed 2. They had them in the case. The sticker price on them for the event, mind you, only because I checked online afterwards, they were like a third of the price. Dollar common. $5 a piece, please.
Because I knew people were hunting it. And they're like,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to milk this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, vendors will do that a
Correct.
lot,
They-
especially
they
if they
know-
know what the meta is.
And you're at their mercy.
Correct, because he was like, if I'm playing this deck today before tournament starts in 30 minutes, and I still have to get my deck list put
Fill
together, because back in the day it used to be paper, so it took a while to put that deck
Oh
in.
yeah.
Interdimensional dragon.
No.
Time for next podcast.
No, so I have a fun caveat with that because like I had something interesting like that happen recently.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think the first team regional after COVID.
Oh.
We got there and last minute somebody made a rule because there was a regional right before it, location right before it, and people were saying single sleeve your decks. They will not allow double sleeves. And a lot of people knew about the the post about it. So they got there to the event and they found out firsthand, hey, you can't double sleeve your decks. You have to single sleeve or use actual Bushiroad.
You're
outer
DQ'd.
sleeves.
You're out. You
Exactly.
can play him naked. It's like, no,
No.
never.
But I remember the vendors at the time, because they heard the announcement, hiked up all the prices of their sleeves to like $20 to $25 a pack of sleeves.
That's
Because they knew the demand for people, because they saw the lines building up of people just trying to get sleeves.
and they're like, well, this is an easy guarantee to make money here.
Yeah.
Plus, it's COVID, so they knew low attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, this is the most guarantee option. Like, You gotta respect the hustle, but damn, you monster.
Oh, I felt
from a
real.
business, like from a sales perspective, that's like that was the most evil smart thing to do. But like, fuck you.
To the community that was attending that event, that is an example of insider trading and why it's bad.
Correct.
That's bad.
Also, like, I felt really bad for the people on day 2 that were playing premium because some people didn't go to the first event. Some
So
people
they didn't know,
and then they didn't
sold
know,
out.
and they were already sold out of all their sleeves.
So it's like, well, you got to leave the venue now, go to a locals, good luck, and find sleeves, good luck.
Yeah.
I hope they have them, wink, wink. Or you can get really lucky and you go to Walmart and they just have katana sleeves for a random reason.
So
why Walmart? Why you do that? I mean, cool, but why?
I'm
Just
glad
so
that their
random.
katana. Last time I went to Walmart, I found the Ultra Pros with the sticker.
The OG card diapers right there.
I was afraid because I was like, and blew the dust off. I was afraid they were going to disintegrate.
It's like an artifact belongs in a museum.
Cue the Indiana Jones music.
moral of this story though, check your social media sometimes.
Oh,
It can help save your life.
They've gotten more, I mean, as a regional goer myself now, they've gotten a lot better at it. It's not nearly as toxic. Most don't really sell sleeves anymore. They have those cool character sleeves, but otherwise, they don't carry much outside of that. But, you know, just stay prepared. Keep track of what your, like, Bushi rules are for any card game as far as sleeving goes. Because I think only more recently Yu-Gi-Oh! Allowed double sleeving. For the longest time, never was the case.
I do not understand why a card game that knows their cards are expensive would not automatically go, yeah, just crystal case those. Like, put them in top loaders.
So I understand the mindset for this because Bushy Road has an example. So they do allow you to double sleeve, but they do not want you double sleeving with standard cards because the gap that is between the Japanese size and the standard size sleeve is enough to where you could possibly
Card could slip out. It could almost. It could accidentally. You could accidentally mark your deck, and that's a DQ. And they just like it's a courtesy thing. It's like I don't want you getting DQ'd because something slipped in your sleeve. Because like it's not always intentionally ill-willed, but sometimes accidents happen. And I know where this story's going, Jeff.
But
I see it in your eyes. So you're about to tell us.
But what I was gonna say earlier though is like but they do allow you to use actual over sleeves. So if you get like Dragon Shield actual over sleeves for Japanese, they're tight enough and they will let that clear.
Correct. Those at my first big regionals since V format that I actually went to. Went to Worlds. Woo woo. I was rocking Dragon Shield clear outers.
Yeah.
They were great. And at that same regionals, I learned that they made clear outers for the large standard size. And I tried them on. I put them on character sleeves for my Shadowverse deck. I'm like, literally, they just came out and they're like, the vendor's like, yeah, these are brand new from Dragon Shield. I'm like, I'm gonna buy those, and I'm like, dude, this is the best thing ever.
There's a company that had marketed the standard size and Japanese size over sleeves that we were buying.
Had the
KMC.
Yes, KMC sleeves. Those things could take a beating.
Oh yeah, no, they were tough too.
Dude, I still have my KMC over somewhere.
The only thing I don't like about KMCs is because, like, unlike Dragon Shields have the matte, so they don't stick as bad.
Yeah,
that's the only downside. It's not a huge one, but it's enough to notice.
They don't have the matte texture.
Just give your outer sleeves a refresher before you go into tournament. Just brand new sleeves every tournament.
Oh no, 100%. Like literally, when we get ready for regionals here at the beginning of November, I'm literally going to order more Japanese outers. Just for I'm going to get like 2 boxes. So I'm ready, and I have replacements on replacements.
Fun life hack for anybody going to a Vanguard regional. If you want a pro tip, have an extra box of Japanese standard size sleeves with you. Just in case you get to deck check and they do not approve of your sleeves, you can at least say have an extra set of sleeves. I can re-sleeve it right now.
I'll tell you right now, if your character sleeves are not Bushi Road created, they won't allow them.
Or playmat.
Or playmat. To be fair, though, if you've made it far enough where that actually matters, which is usually top 8, they give you a cool top 8 mat you get to play on anyway. So it's like a win-win.
I mean, that's fair.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I made it all the way to top 8, and then they're like, yeah, probably not going to want you to play on that mat, though. I'm like, we'll be getting the top 8 mats before we start. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, then I'm good. I will swap.
Use
These
that.
are acceptable parameters. But no, yeah, take some extra inner sleeves too, and outers. Like if you rock them both, take extras of both. That way, because literally when I was in top 8 deck check, the guy beside me, his didn't fly because they just got damaged throughout the whole event. They're like some of the corners were starting to nick on a few of them, and he's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'll buy a new box because the vendors had and he didn't double sleeve his deck, but they had dragon shields, so they were allowing the single sleeves. If the color thickness was right, you couldn't see the back of the card through it. So he bought them and it passed inspection. I had a much closer call because 2 of my sleeves were just funny, but I had brought like the box had like 10 extra outers, so I was like, we're going to swap through these until it works. And eventually it worked because like it was unfortunate. He kept pulling the same 2 cards out each time, and I felt really bad because I'm like, I promise you I'm not marking with those because the game loss I took during the tournament, like the one game I lost, I needed both of those cards. And if I had them, I wouldn't have lost. So trust me, I've been winning more games a lot less closely if I had those, if I was actually cheating. It's just, it looks suspicious, and the judge was giving me the benefit of the doubt.
It's just a little sus.
It was a little sus, but we eventually got the sleeves to work out. And it was all good. But you have a story, I know you do, of a person who used to go to our locals years ago and it's still a mystery somewhat to this day of was he cheating or
Is
not?
this the riser player?
This is the riser player. Shout out to Hunter at our locals. This riser player was his friend. I don't know if you knew that, Jeff.
I did.
Oh,
okay.
I did. I apologize for the absolute roasting I'm about to give because
we mean
this in the best
we
way
mean
possible.
this in the best way possible because, like, in all fairness, we don't want to
gave
be
it-
like mean to somebody, but at the same time, this guy,
He had it coming.
He really did have it
We gave
coming.
him a huge window of opportunities to turn it around, and he didn't. To our own detriment, several times, but it's what it is. So go ahead. I'll let you tell this whole story. You dealt with it the most.
So this was at the second location for one of our local card shops. Great location, wonderful, little dingy, but
It's what it was.
it was
It was
yeah.
unique.
It indeed.
Mhm.
So again, person got into the game. He was still kind of new, and at the time, the riser set in Vanguard had came out that had Meteor Flare, I believe was the name.
I can't remember what
Dual Flare,
it
Meteor
was.
Flare.
It was the Legion. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it was Legion Cat Butler specifically, and I triggered a lot of people that are listening to this. If you've played during that format, it was terrible.
Fuck that card.
Including our good friend and host here, Alex.
Dude,
If there's one card I will ever like Philip has what's her name?
The cheerleader.
The cheerleader heal that he will always forever burn. It'll be me for Cat Butler.
So the original Cat Butler had a wonderful effect that allowed you to restand your Legion Vanguard because it restood a grade 2 and it forced the grade 3 to stand with it, making it just
rulings.
whoop. Everyone gets to go again and again and again. The problem that we ran into, and it was only after about 2 tournaments.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
It was.
I would say it was easily 4.
It was like,
Oh no,
we were
you
not.
might have been 4.
Some of us were more naive, and we were giving the kid the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But I know Jeff because we have our sidebars, and it was just very like, this has happened to like, first time, shame on me. Second time, shame on me. Third time, shame on you. Screw you, dog.
Yeah. like give me your sleeves, cause we wanted to check his sleeves. So much so to the point that I stopped in the middle of our game and said, that's the same crit that you revealed the last tournament 4 times in a row.
Like, it's not even, it's like, because like, yeah, we can run 8+ different crits by this point. So it's like the same art.
Mm-hmm.
It like, yeah, he has 4 of it in the deck, but the likelihood of seeing it every single week,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not high, but I mean, now likely because you can only run up to 8.
Yeah.
So like back in the day when you could run more than 8, like 12 to 16.
Well,
So
and he-
like
and
that
he
makes it more suspicious.
He was running the 12 crit variant.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 4, 4, and 4. Okay, cool. That means there are 3 different artworks that you could possibly reveal. And I knew from watching him flip through his deck without him realizing I was watching that specific crit, the one that ended the games every single time, was a one of.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was his Vanguard. The Rising Legion was a one of, but he kept seeing it every single first grade 3 turn.
He did. That was another one. So there were 2 cards that were specific that I saw consistently. He only had a single copy. Understandably so, this is a child that had an $80 like mandatory 4 of card. He only had one of it, but he had all the other requirements for the deck. He had the Cat Butlers, he had the 12 crits, he had the
12K body, grade 2s.
Yep, the grade 2 that paired with it, the Legion mate, the Legionnaire. PGs, like all of it. He had everything else, but he only had one copy of the main beater unit, and that it was very suspicious because he would always see the brake ride that would go first, and then he would get
the Legion.
And it was not, I'm going to swing with the brake ride a couple times. It's not going to do
It's
much.
like where he eventually got to it. No, it's just literally next grade 3 turn, boom, had it.
Mm-hmm. And something, if you watched and you paid really close attention, he never had it in his hand. When he would draw, he would shuffle his hand, and if you watched the card closely, it was the same card that he drew. It was the card he drew for that turn that was the grade 3 that he would ride.
Yeah, this is why it's always important to cut your opponent's deck, people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we even like I cut his deck.
That's
That
a-
was the and here's the thing, that was the game he lost.
Yeah, we got to the point that was at the locals where we stopped cutting decks and we started shuffling the opponent's deck before we gave it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Because there's easy ways to manipulate the top, even when you're just doing a simple half cut. And didn't he also have like where like it was his sleeves were poking out? Because he had double sleeved. It was black outers and yellow inners, right?
Yes, he had a different color. He had a slightly different shade
Oh.
for those smart
So it
cards.
was like black and then gray.
It was black and onyx. So onyx is
Oh.
going to have that really deep black to it. Because
So to the
Dragon-
untrained eye, you might not spot it from across the table, but
oh yeah, at a
when he's
quick
on top
glance.
of it, he'll see it.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
And so
Sorry, my memory's kind of.
always it's coming back to you. It's coming back
This
to you.
is more than 9 years ago.
Always, like obviously have good faith in the people that you play with.
Correct.
But always understand that unless you are extremely confident in the honor system that you play in, don't
Plus,
trust.
Plus, it was just a sheer numbers thing. I don't think he understood when he's running ratios like he is like you said, single of that one crit. He's ending the game with single of that grade 3. That's like that beater that's vital to the game. So like when you're consistently doing something and never missing.
If you were to have this
I played
kind of luck,
Legion.
if you're gonna have this kind of luck,
Become a protagonist. Join an anime.
go buy a lottery ticket, buddy, because you're getting this consistently. Then you're
Go buy
consistently.
Because like even in current Vanguard, at least like when you're getting consistent, it's because your deck compresses for you.
Yeah.
So it's going to make that number game work in your favor. So like you're just like
This one.
I remember when Alex, one of your first overdressed decks would compress. It was your Tommy Euro deck.
Oh god.
Oh
It was,
yeah.
and you're like, I was getting pissed off. I'm like, he's seeing the overtrigger every freaking game. I'm like, Alex, I know you're not cheating, but like, come on, turn off the black magic. He's like, you don't understand. This deck's compressing.
It's like
constantly.
between broken toys, between fork tells, between all the other effects. I'm like, I have
You're seeing like more than half of your deck consistently.
because like each doll you run 4 of, so there's 8, and then there's grade 1s, you run 16. And then you play the orders that compress all those out. So by the time you're going through fork tells and everything, you've already taken 16 cards out of your deck.
So by your first or second grade 3 turn, it's all gas.
Yeah.
It's all triggers off the top and defensively. And then when I finally started playing more recent Ava, I understood. I'm like, this deck compresses before it gets to its first grade 3 turn by hopefully 4 cards if you did it right selectively, and your ride line's doing it too. So 6 cards consistently if you're not whiffing. So like you're seeing so much, and then the ride line, the grade 3 counterblast is to look at the top and pick a card of your choice. So you're just like at the mid to late game, you're just like compress,
So lessons to the people out there that are just now picking up Vanguard or want some pointers. Compression is a really good thing to do in Vanguard.
It's either multi-attack like crazy, like 7+ attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And pray to God your opponent doesn't hit a defensive trigger, because sometimes the Bushi guys won't let you have it.
I mean, in
and so like, because that's why Shoujo Doji's doing so great, because it's multi-attack like crazy, and their numbers are solid, especially if they Persona Road. It's like, good luck.
And a hand rip.
A hand rip, yeah. So it's just, dude, I hope you defensive trigger at least twice. Otherwise, my turn is going to be forever.
Can we take a second and ruminate on the fact that every good deck has turned into compress,
Or
thin, or just
multi-attack.
machine gun?
Yeah. No, and it's unfortunate that the design space is starting to like, it looked like it was broadening out, and then it's just like people are streamlining it again. It's like, it's not what Bushiroad has decided. It's just, we got the meta players, we got the think tanks, like the different fights.
We finally have enough generics to where we can see the Nasdaq lines of everything.
Exactly. Everything's kind of like, oh, this is a specific card for this archetype. I've seen this vanilla version in this, or I've seen it in this archetype of this deck list of like, okay, this is essentially what this tool is for. Now I know how to abuse it already. Let's get the like cards into the deck and just go crazy. Unfortunately, that's been the unfortunate side effect of when you make everything more generic. You get rid of clans, you make nations.
Yeah,
It's part of the trade. I think the game's healthier because of that, because variety. It's not just like, well, Mega Colony hadn't seen support this time of year yet, because we only got it once or twice a year if we were lucky. Like if for some reason they put Mega Colony in a main set,
you're lucky.
You got those tri boosters once a year that's like guaranteed to have it. Otherwise, it was just like, Mega who?
Yeah.
But there is the downside of it, because then you get stuff like Keter Pile, where it's just like you take these handful of cards, they go inside every single Keter deck because the engine's just so good, and then you splash in the little sprinkles of whatever the deck wants to do.
The individuality is sprinkled in last.
The problem is the same. The outcome is solved.
But to be fair, I'll take variety over unfortunately, Father Time has just been unfortunate for your deck right now. It's been over a year since you've gotten support, and Bushi Santa didn't come down your chimney this year, and you didn't get any gifts.
Your bugs are dust.
Or your support, like we finally got you Legion support, but we're now in GU format.
Or sometimes worse, and you just you play an online client of a game, and you really like this clan, and Vanguard Zero decides. Peace out, Chikazi.
In memoriam. So now that I've gotten you down to the last 10 minutes of this podcast, thankfully, I have a question for you, Jeff.
I'm scared.
I'm slightly interested in the question. I think I know most of the story, but I want to hear the rest of it. Is what got you into card games, and what eventually got you into Vanguard? So like, obviously, if you were the guest and you didn't play Vanguard, we'd leave that last part of the question out. But it was just, what got you into card games, what got you into Vanguard, and what got you to now? We'll add this additional, because I know you're not the biggest Vanguard player right now. You respect it from a distance, but you're more in the Shadowverse now. And Magic, of course. So
okay.
Let's hear this story.
So card games for me started out very, very young. I have been playing a card game of some variety, not collecting. Like, I was not the 9-year-old that picked up Pokemon and said,
just put it in a binder and just pass along.
No. Actively playing. My first game, unfortunately, was Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hey, to be fair, that was my first too. It was a lot of people's first.
Back in the day.
When
it was good. Jingle, jingle, jingle. So it started out with family. My cousin and I specifically. We picked up. He got the Red Eye Zombie.
Ooh, okay. So you weren't with the Kaiba and the Yugi decks. You were in the more advanced versions.
Oh no. I had those, but he didn't.
Gotcha.
To make it fair, he picked up that one, and I picked up the Magician's counter deck.
Yes, the spell
And
counter
the
deck.
Endymion, I think was.
No, it's not. Is it Endymion? No, it's the
No.
Warlock.
Warlock.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Warlock. Yeah,
You have to tribute Dark Magician to
Yes.
special summon him out of your hand, and it's like, yeah, thanks. I'm not running Elemental Hero Prisma or anything. I got to hard do this. Ugh, thanks. Anyway,
So we started out playing that. For anyone who was not playing during that period of time, that dragon deck will smoosh most of the other decks that were released at the time.
the zombie deck was strong.
Terrifying.
Because the zombie world is a heck of a card.
Oh yeah, it's a cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You can only tribute summon zombies. We got to get out Dark Magician.
Didn't that deck also
It's
have
just
the
my
Soul Bone
boy.
Tower too?
Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. Yep. I mean, to be fair, if it's just the one of the structure deck, you only had the one copy. But
Yeah.
Toxic.
booty.
Jump forward. I went to a card shop for the first time. It was the original location next to Quiznos. Rest in peace, them
Quiznos.
rats.
Oh man, stop making me hungry. I'm goddamn.
We hadn't had dinner yet.
We kept that place open.
Yes, we did.
When the shop moved, it died.
Unfortunately.
I
miss it. I miss it. So much.
I started playing with just random cards, and I saw that the loose boxes were there, and I was like, "What is Magic?" Oh yeah, that's the big question there. What is Magic? So I, being the video gamer at the time, went home, and on Xbox at the time, when the Vampire Nocturnus was a promo that you could get whenever you downloaded the video game on Xbox. Oh yeah, we're going to deep lore.
Deep lore. Deep Xbox lore.
My original deck was a mono black vampire deck.
Hey.
I had to
It's the
start
classics.
somewhere.
It's the classics.
Built into that, made some friends.
Yes. Unfortunately.
This one. And I agreed to come on to this podcast. How dare.
I mean, to be fair, we've known each other since high school.
Yeah.
That's where we first officially got introduced, I think.
Yeah, well, because I was at the Challenger program. So I was in high school.
Well,
You were.
When you did go to Ford for a bit.
We passed.
But I'm just saying, that's technically where I knew you.
Yeah.
But I knew you through association.
Yeah.
The card shop is where I actually got to know you.
Yeah. Sorry.
By technicality, but who cares about that crap?
I started picking up and building decks in Magic just because I wanted to. And then you pulled me back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Then I went to Magic, then to Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you said, hey, Magic, let's both do this.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves at CVCC.
In the annex.
Yeah, and the one across from me right now, good old
Hi.
Alex.
Oh, dude, I know exactly what time era in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, so we can like timestamp this. This was Duelist Alliance format. Well, not Duelist Alliance. It was the set after where Cleaforts just got introduced.
Yeah.
Alex is like wanting to build those, and he's also like, dude, check out these Ultimate Athletes. They'll totally be a thing one day. They totally did become a thing one day, but much later.
Yeah,
but it was a very rogue deck. But he's like, I believe in the rogueness of this deck. It's all low rarity. That's another reason to pick.
I'm
it up.
also the guy who was like, at the time, simping over Skull Servants before they actually got good support.
To be fair,
Yes.
hey man, you never underestimate a Skull Servant deck.
No, those things are terrifying, especially now.
I mean, yeah.
So we started playing, hanging out, Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! There again, and then we went down to the shop one day. I had seen the card game for Vanguard just advertised because I was like, different card games, because I played Chaotix.
Oh.
Does anyone remember that? I hope not. That is a fever dream and a half. I had the Zatch Bell card game.
Oh man.
No,
yeah.
a fever dream is a Kaijudo, but we don't really talk about Kaijudo.
Does Kaijudo predate Chaotix?
No,
No,
Chaotix comes out first. Kaijudo was actually, I would say, relatively newer, but God, it was just
Newer
it
for
never took off.
then and painful for now. And I had brought up the idea. I was watching the anime because it was on YouTube for the Cardfight Vanguard show, and I brought it up to Alex. And I was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Vanguard?" This man's face lit up. He's like, "I haven't heard that in
I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
That was me getting like my old Grand Blue deck.
Oh, no, no,
that was
God.
back from Cocytus era, not even Legion Cocytus. And I just go pick it up, go.
No, because like that's what got me into Vanguard. Because I remember we were playing at Time Tunnel once, and we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And I'm like, I wanted tokens, and he had these Vanguard cards just in his Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh
binder.
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
had a Death Seeker Thanatos in my binder, and
I'm
for
like,
the
dude,
longest time, he was always wanting that card. It's like, I don't get those games, but I love the art.
no,
And I
the
just-
art was sick, and that's Vanguard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that art is sick. I don't know anything about this card game, but he looks sick as hell. And Alex is like, this card is worthless. I gotta try to pawn it off. No, I understand why he never pawned it off on me for the longest time, because it was worthless. You couldn't make a good trade out of it.
Yeah, I
He
was
was
not
like,
gonna
I'd
just.
rather keep it. Honestly, it's a memento of times past. I'd rather keep the memory than
It's not that it was a bad card, but
it was worthless.
it was worthless.
No, and then we're all three in the annex. I know where this is going, and
Yep.
we're just like, we should get in the Vanguard.
Yep, we were sitting there just minding our business, and we're like, you want to do a thing?
Yeah.
Let's do a thing. Let's revive this card game. The three of us were the beginning, or the reawakening, rather,
Yeah.
of this card game for our local area. So much so to the point that we started playing, getting some good decks, getting some good card stuff, and we were like, there's a major tournament in Atlanta.
This is also right as we went into
G.
because
Oh, well, to be
we started picking it back up again toward the middle,
to
the
be fair-
end of Legion.
It was no. We picked the card game up right at the end of Limit Break. I remember because Jeff gave me literally this Narukami pile. Just good luck. To be fair, that was the kindest thing he could have done, because it was all a lot of low rarities. But to be fair, he was just trying to get me to play the game.
I was
and
like,
I don't blame him.
here,
This is my bulk.
dragons.
Oonga da boonga. Like literally, my Vanguard was a double rare. You know the one I'm talking about. Yeah, it was awful. And so I
it
went
can't
to
be as bad as Phillips treatment.
So
But go ahead.
I went to my locals,
Tradition.
and there was this guy who was big into Vanguard that we knew of, but he played. I think he was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. But I knew he had Vanguard, and I went to him. I'm like, what do I need? I want Eradicator. It's like, what do you got to make this deck better? And he just like flipped open his binder. Tommy, not Tommy. No, Tommy's the wrong name.
No,
It's the guy I got that the Shadowverse stuff off of. He used
Frank.
Frank. Yes. Frank.
oh,
Yeah, no,
Frank.
Frank. Yeah, that was my first ever introduction to him. But he opened up his binder, it's just covered in Vanguard stuff. He's like, "Yeah, you want this, this, and this, and this." I think it was like, no, literally, it was like almost $50 worth of triple rares.
Yeah.
Like 2 Nebula Crunch or not Nebula Knuckle Dragon,
Yeah.
the Eradicator Knuckle
yeah.
Dragon. 2 of the whatever Eradicator he's like in the structure deck, and then he has his 2 copies of his reverse, and then I had 2 copies of the restanding guy.
And this
Big
is
Sword
when
Bastard.
Lon got good.
Yeah, the only thing my deck was missing with perfect guards, because they were like $15 to $20 a copy,
Oh, no.
and they were expensive.
The Narukami ones at the time
Were-
were 40s.
Well, yeah, great.
While Twin Bladers were 30s.
Well, no. Yeah,
I don't
there
want
was-
to hear it. Do you know how
No, no, no,
expensive
no.
Dustions were?
No. He was right, because the reason why is the original was named Eradicator.
Yep.
And that's what made it expensive, because it was searchable.
How's that Grand Blue support doing? Yeah.
Hey, look. At least I had a caveat. I didn't. At least at that time, I had quintet walls, and I was like, you know what? This kind of fits Grand Blue style. I can wing this until then.
No. But it was funny. As soon as I got the deck built, and Jeff's like, check out this. This is Legion, and he had like the Genesis one that came like in the booster box as a box topper,
So
and then
good.
he's just playing it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just spent all this money on something that's now irrelevant. To
Just
be fair,
like-
it was still good, but like he's living in the year like 3000, and I'm here like with rocks and sticks.
Yggdrasil, get wrecked, sir.
No, it wasn't even Yggdrasil.
Oh, no, that was the witches.
No, it was the
Minerva.
no, it was like a really bad Legion. It literally was a box topper.
Oh, that's
It
right.
came
that was
in-
the original.
Yeah, it was one of the original Legions. It had a very vanilla effect. It
Yeah.
just got power. That was it.
Yeah, but
Other
it was
than being
enough.
Legion, like it did like a really like over
I think it was
expensive
like
cost
Soul,
effect.
I think it was like Soul Blast 3 gain 5K or something
It
like
was
that.
really bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crap. And then we're trying Legion format as best we can. I'm like, I want to build Knuckle Brawlers, and it's so expensive. I'm like, I want to. And then like before we knew it, we're in G.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we finally had like by this point, Legion format had been going, and we had like a locals actually going.
Yeah.
It was a very small group, but we had something happening.
We had like 9 people going at the time.
I mean, everyone was bad.
At
Least
dude,
everyone was
I
bad.
remember-
everyone has to start with an Arakami pile.
Everyone has to
No,
start.
I started with the Grand Blue pile.
You did.
And I didn't even have a Legion for a long time. I actually had
Buddy,
Spirit
I-
Exceed.
Yeah.
And I had the jump ride. I guess I had a jump ride. But like at the same time, like for a while there, I actually had to help trade with you guys to even get the Legions for my deck to get
Yeah.
the more modern. And I
But-
still didn't even have
but yeah.
Night Mist.
Jeff came up to us and he's like, let's do something more extreme than just locals. Let's go further beyond. And we went to Atlanta. I have some.
Oh boy, it's memory lane.
Hold on. Also, I remember this because this was also the time I decided to make Bermuda, and everybody's like, "You want to help me buy booster boxes to make this deck?"
Oh
Because
my
we
The
didn't know how to
duos.
buy
It was
singles.
the duos, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was
the first stride.
It was Harmony.
It was Harmony. And he's like, yeah, I need this card called Olivia.
So
Excuse you, sir.
On this-
I had a single copy.
you had a single copy.
it's like, I can make it work. and
he
that copy
almost
was
did.
how much? It was like $60 for
Yeah,
the single
60
card.
to $60 at the time.
And then that one guy pulled
the max rarity everything.
it was like
Oh,
$300.
yeah.
And I think he still kept it for the longest time.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you can look at this with me. The first one, September 12th, 2015, the lost sunken city of Atlanta.
Oh my.
And you can see the airport from far away.
Oh, here, this put that there in front of the camera.
I don't know if it'll pick up. Here, let me brighten
It
my screen.
might.
So-
Turning on the light.
This is a view from the car we were in. No, we were in the hotel.
We were in the hotel.
And this is out the bay windows of the room where they were in. And I'm like, take a picture like the lost sunken city of Atlanta. And that's the Atlanta airport in the very far background.
And that's
And
the
then,
famous Waffle House story.
At Vanguard Regionals
IHOT.
in Atlanta, Georgia, woot woot. I didn't have Alex in this picture because I couldn't see him, but Jeff was at the table behind me. And
I was trying my best.
yeah, I forgot what you took. Was it the Chronojet structure deck?
Interdimensional dragon of bullshit.
Yeah. So like this is me. My head's at the very bottom, and I had like my weird like swirly bowl cut Bieber haircut at the time, and my ginormous shark nose is like sticking out, and just like I look like a weird like gremlin. Alex was on the other side because this is one side of Vanguard, the other side was another side. There was a lot of people there, but again, first time for
I
everything.
do miss that venue because at least the hotel was there, so you could just literally ride an elevator down to the
Unfortunately, that's
venue.
the only 2 photos I had. I had another one on my phone when we went to that cool McDonald's afterwards.
Oh yeah.
The IHOP.
Oh,
the
the
IHOP
IHOP.
story. Story time. Do you want to do this one or should
Yeah,
I?
I'll do it. It's unfortunate.
Now-
I'm mad at this day.
Let us add to this. Add
A
to
great
the
way.
drama of this.
It's a great story to leave it off at.
It has to do with the fact that I used to be an Android only user because at the time I had the 5C iPhone.
Yeah. So we finished the event. I'm like, how do we celebrate this fun time? And I'm like, let's do IHOP. I love IHOP because when we were at our locals every Friday night, we end with IHOP. And if IHOP was too busy, we went to Waffle House. But it was mostly always IHOP. It's just what you did.
Getting the splashberries.
Splashberry, yes. Oh,
Feral.
dude, I hadn't been to IHOP in a while. I'm wanting to give him a second chance. I'm scared.
I mean, there was a very nice individual there. His name was George, and he had a Coke nail that was the size of like a square.
So no.
Yeah, it's went downhill at ours for quite
Since
bad.
COVID,
Yeah.
because it died technically, and then it actually came back, and then it was just understaffed. But anyways, so yeah, we want to go IHOP, and we're following the GPS, and it's taking us by the airport. I'm like, yeah, okay.
It made
And if you don't know anything about Atlanta, specifically the airport, it's ginormous. It's parking lots and ramps and like weird sky bridges for days of just like just swirl around the whole freaking airport. It's like planes land and people got to go places. It's like the biggest airport ever. And we're riding around and I'm like, we're following Jeff's GPS and it's like, it says there's one here. And finally it's like, all right, we're here. And we're in the middle of a fucking like ginormous ass parking lot in the airport.
We're in the middle of a bridge.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
On
right.
top, in the middle of an actual
You're right.
bridge.
You were on the one of those ramp bridges over the parking lot, and it's like you're here. It's like I'm looking. I'm like look out the window, and like maybe it's on the ground under the bridge. I'm like surely they didn't build an IHOP in the middle of a parking lot. The parking lot usually goes around the IHOP, not like it's just dead center in one.
Yeah.
And we finally get. Where did we eat after? No, we went to McDonald's
We went to
because we
McDonald's.
just conceded. We're just like.
I thought it was like a Burger King or a Chick-fil-A.
No, it was a McDonald's because I have the photos. It was a very fancy McDonald's.
Oh,
yeah, they had
yeah,
like
now I
nice
remember.
furnishing on the walls, and I'm like
very
taking these
pretty.
cute selfies and stuff. And
Oh God.
that was like because we were like trying to figure out why the heck is this, and Jeff's like, I'm using Apple Maps. Was that the problem? And we're like,
Very much was the problem. Apple Maps has gotten much better. Before, it would take you through the ghetto to get to the ghetto. Like, it would put you in the middle of nowhere.
It's like you arrived at your destination as you go off a cliff.
Yep. Okay, your destination? Death.
I'm trying my best to find this photo. Unfortunately, my phone's gotten really bad at jumbling up the timeline.
It's
I have several pictures from when we were. No, wait, that was a
wibbly
that was a high
wobbly,
school. It was a
timey-wimey.
CNN building.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, because this was I went on a high school a band trip, and we went to Atlanta for our trip, which was fun. But we went through the CNN building. We took the tour, and I'm like, "Why is this CNN?" I'm like, oh, "We went there for Vanguard."
Why does it look familiar?
I
don't miss the dungeon.
I miss. You don't miss a dungeon, but I miss the location because at least if you were
The
you
food
scrub out or something, you at least can go do something in actual city of Atlanta.
I go to the aquarium.
Ugh, it's so
Y'all
expensive.
just
It was
disappeared
Or to the Coca-Cola Museum, or to some restaurants, or
Yeah,
something.
Or Johnny Rockets. Their milkshakes are amazing. It's an old diner. It's real good.
But like at least there's stuff to do. The venue, like I don't mind the venue where they have now, Duluth, but
Well, I like it because it's not in Atlanta. Atlanta traffic was a nightmare, dude, and
But
parking was terrible.
I was the one that drove in it all the time.
I mean, yeah, you should know more than anyone.
I was fine. I drove a 17-passenger bus.
That was a
through
fun trip.
That was a fun trip.
that got booted.
Oh, yeah.
We've gotten booted several times in Atlanta. It was not my fault. The signs were not clear. I was used to Charlotte.
To be fair, it was Atlanta. No one would blame you.
Yeah,
They saw a North Carolina tag and said, that one.
I vividly remember the boot one because I remember us leaving after getting off the boot because Jess was with us at the time. And then we had to drive through a protest that was also happening at the same time across the streets.
Wait, I don't think I went to this one.
You did not, because this
I
was
went to the first
whenever
booting, not the second one.
Yeah, there has been 4 bootings.
Oh, geez.
4, because one of them we had Jess, and that was whenever it was me, you, Jess, Russell, and Hector.
Hector, yeah.
And then the original booting was all of the group.
Oh yeah, that was the one where we had the big van.
Yeah, that was the one where we boots are expensive, especially after you spend all your money at card games.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, cool. I'm going to go to all these cool, shiny cars at these vendors. I'm going to trade some cars and sell some cards. I'm going to lose a little bit of money, but I got these really expensive cards for really cheap. And then, like, but my wallet's empty now, so we're going to go home. And then you go home and you see there's a boot on your card, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Thank God for credit cards in some of those instances.
So
Oh,
trying.
big time. The intrusive thought to try and pick the boot. This is not advice. This is nowhere near advice. But the intrusive thought to pick the boot and just leave. It was there. Because it was trying. Because I'm tired of these boots.
I want to leave.
I'm tired of Atlanta. I want to go home.
Home.
I found it.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Like, look how fancy that is. Look how
Oh
fancy
my
that. Like,
God.
that was like a cabinet with like trophies and crap in it.
I was remembering the
Look-
hair.
Look how bougie. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
remembering your face.
Let's not worry about that. We're focusing on
My
the
naked
cabinet.
face. Oh God, look at that 5 o'clock shadow. I understand shaving twice. I didn't understand the concept of shaving every day.
See, I can't say anything because this one pulled up some ancient pictures, and it just showed how unfortunate I was as a child.
Google saves
Remember
every.
this time we went?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That we went to the Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah.
That was near the CNN building, and my hair was crazy there.
But to Jeff's statement, Google Photos saves everything, and sometimes it's a blessing and a curse.
Wait, Alex, you did go on that one? I don't know why you were in that photo. I think you were sitting across from me.
Oh,
That
Or
was
you didn't
whenever
go
we
up in
were-
the
no,
Ferris
I didn't go in that the Ferris wheel. That's what it was.
By the way, the Ferris wheel has AC in it, and it was hot whenever we went down. It was really hot. That
Mhm.
was amazing.
the
Best
AC
$30 for a ride I've ever spent.
Yeah, no, it was very expensive, but that's the big city. But yeah, memory lane. I mean, so we've been friends for how long? You want to put a number on that, or are we too scared?
So we've been playing Vanguard together. We know
Since
for-
I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So 10, 11 years now.
and then we've known each other technically for at least 2 years before that.
So, but what I'm saying, how long have we been friends? So if
We'll
we're
go-
by
we'll go-
associates, then
yeah.
yeah, like 11 years or
Yeah.
12 years. Then if we like actually playing the card game, being friends, 11 years easy. And then Alex, I started to know him when I went to college
Yeah, I met these two
at locals, right?
playing Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh at college, and then that's how we met.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
I think
You're
I met through my,
stuck now.
we met through my friend Chase, because Chase knew you guys, and then he brought me into you guys.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He played at the locals. Yeah.
And then the introduction that we had to Philip.
Well,
Oh, that'll be a
That'll
good
be
story
a
time.
That'll be a story when they
Oh,
have Philip on
boy.
here.
And we are omitting certain parts. We are not having Hector on for that episode, by the way. We are not. We are not.
Oh,
Love you, Hector. No.
That sounds like a fun episode, actually.
No.
well,
I will murder him on camera in cold blood. We are not doing this. You understand me.
But
with all that,
yes, I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
No, my favorite part is I only went on one topic. I was thinking I was going to use three.
Oh
Look
no,
at
we
that.
ranted on quite a bit,
We ranted on better than I hoped.
Just rambling old idiots on a podcast.
talking about children's
I went
card
to the
games.
chiropractor today.
I need to.
I have a recommended one. It's a good one. He'll stretch you good.
What's a chiropractor?
Yeah, you should go too.
A
It's-
necessity.
it was like $36 for me to go today.
Ooh. Okay, yeah.
To
I'm
be
gonna
fair,
look
my
at that.
first one it was 80, but then after that it was 36.
This is also with insurance, by the way.
I am insured, yes.
I work for the government.
I think he's insured.
Uncle Sam
I
wants his playthings to stay healthy.
Are you telling me
I-
you're not insured?
I am not insured
Buddy,
because
you're the oldest and the wisest of us. Wisest with quotations.
it's expensive. Like it takes out of my paycheck, and then like I'm already living right now paycheck to paycheck. I don't
Well,
need to make it,
welcome
like,
to most
10 bucks.
Americans. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll talk about this offline.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode whenever that conveniently comes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.